Hello! Good evening, everybody! Hey! Wow, the PYS is over now. It's Pro time. This is the Pro Tour EU round number 1. We are going to be going out with Reti. They are facing, Serenity actually, and they're facing Reti. Or am I going out with Reti and they're facing Serenity? Yeah, well, you decide. They're in Group 1. There are lots of games going on today, guys. So let's just show you. Firstly, if you want to know where the games are, click on the little tournament cup. Go to current. Go to the professionals. Go to streams. There are 4. There is Wild Ones Halpo who's doing Loca against BPS. Now there's me doing Serenity against Reti. There's also Aminet doing the BPS Gravitas against A1N1. And of course there's Every Good Name Is Taken, aka aka Peter, doing Endgame against APA. So those are the streams. Just click on them, takes you to an external resource, and Bob's your uncle and all that sort of stuff. We, however, are going out with Reti. Now, the way this works is we're in the upper bracket here. The winner between Serenity and Reti will go through to tomorrow. The loser will go into the semi-final today. And they'll face the loser of the other game. Now, wherever the loser of the other game is, those two will then meet up, and whoever wins goes into tomorrow, and whoever loses goes out. So we will lose 2 clans today. It's that harsh, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at the teams. So for Serenity, we have Pipu Devil, Alpha, Pipu Jail, Spitfires, Brocky, Flytix, Pipu Plat, Kimmich, Days, and Trutuniet. And just have a look at their win rates here, 69%, 65%. They haven't, as a clan and as a team, they haven't got a really high win rate. But you know what? I have these down as being one of the clans that can really challenge. I think these, at the moment, just my opinion, these are the second best clan to Endgame on the EU server. So this is a clan to keep your eye on. As I said, they're facing Reti, and Reti have got Charlie Scene, Forever Green, Pencil Case, Max Spitty, Orange Tomato, Tomka, Vicky Kabudaj, Icky, the Ad1 or the Addy, and Al No Pen. And as you can see there, again, really, really good win rates. But they haven't really come together. They're good. They're a great clan. They really, really deserve to be in the top 8. They fought really hard, but they do lack something at the moment. So it's going to be interesting if they can turn over Serenity. That'll be a massive boost. I think Serenity are one of the clans that you've really got to be careful with. Matches wise, well, we're going out on Fort Despair, followed by Fort Despair, followed by Canal, with a decider on Faust. So, as always with my streams now, let's have a look at those maps. Is fair and familiar with the Twister, you'll know that up there, somewhere, there's a grill. There it is, courtesy of Raid Messi in his grill. What can we expect on this map? Well, if it was a public game, you'll see everybody going to the C-cap. Not quite the same here in tournaments. You will normally get them to drive something along the lines of maybe a Vickers, maybe even a Cranwagon up onto this ridge, try and get those spots, see if anything's moving across or into position over that side. And again, it's pretty much a mirror from the other side. Some clans like to send their heavies, sometimes their mediums, out wide along this area so they can flank round and put cross shots in. And again, it works from both sides. You will get to see super heavies in the form of Mouses and E100s. If so, well, from this spawn, they will stick them on this area here and side scrape off this building. Or if they've got 2 of them and feeling quite aggressive, they may push straight into the B-cap. From the other side, they like to stick them around here. And again, if they've got 2 of them and feeling quite aggressive, they may push straight into that B-cap. It's not uncommon to see them sending the likes of an E5 or something similar and stick them into these little pigeonholes here. That way they can get some good spots as the team moves across there, or as they even try and get into their pigeonholes. Plus, you can reset the C-cap. If they are going for C-cap, well, you normally get an IS-4 dropping in, fast capping it and pulling back out and sitting in around this position until they've got some support, and then they may push through. Pretty much the same from the other side. It's a very symmetrical map, pretty much the same. 9 times out of 10, the big brawling area is the B cap, but it's not uncommon to see it between B and C. It's very rare to see it between A, however. Again, they have multiple strats for these maps, so we never know what they're really going to do until they line up their meta and get into those initial positions. Either way, it's always a good brawly map, Fort Despair, so we're going to be in for a great time. This is Canal, one of my favourite tournament maps. I absolutely adore this map. Now, what are we likely to see here? Well, there have been numerous different strats utilised on Canal. 9 times out of 10, it's all about taking those caps. So from this spawn, it is not uncommon to see them come in and fast cap that B cap. It's also, if they're particularly aggressive, not uncommon to see them get over this bridge and try to get the resets on that C cap and then drop down into the canal itself and push around onto this ridge to make sure that they've got some cover. From this spawn, it's much easier to get over to that A cap. They've got to be careful as they cross here because they can be spotted, and if there are tanks also going to the A cap or even going into that C cap, they can give them a bit of a hard time. Not to worry though, they normally send AMX 50Bs out here and stuff like that. And once they're out here, boy, they can put a lot of pressure onto that C cap area and put a lot of cover down onto the B cap. From the other spawn, well, they generally can go into that C cap, which they do. They've got to be careful of those resets if they come aggressive across the bridge. Once they're done with the C cap, they generally drop down to this ridge line here. That way they're safe. A cap is a lot more traumatic from this spawn, because as you try to get around here, anything on the B cap will spot you, and if there's other tanks going up, you are just going to get roasted. What you generally get, if they want to be aggressive, they drop down into the canal itself, use the cover provided to try and get up behind the B cap and give them a lot of hard times. From this spawn, it's more likely they're going to go to the D cap. They'll go round the outside, round the back, jump into that D cap, and as long as they get D and C first, they will then put their tanks on this ridge line and wait. If they're feeling particularly aggressive, they may stick E5s or something similar on this ridge just to oversee that B cap. Whoever gets the caps first, well, they've got the advantage. They just need to hold and the other side need to push. And that's when it becomes traumatic, because it's a lot easier if you are on this side of the map to push towards that C cap than it is to push towards that D cap. However, if they do have the advantage on this side pushing to C, you're going to incur the wrath of those sat on those ridges. So it all depends what they're going to do. Only time will tell, and it's going to be an exciting, fast-paced game. Canal normally is, and it's normally action-packed. We can only sit and wait and see what they're going to do. Either way, we're going to be in for some amazing gameplay. So those are the maps. I didn't have time to do fast because, as you can see, we're already in the room. Now, it's going to be difficult to tell you what they're in, but also, before I forget, there's going to be a giveaway throughout the whole of this stream. It's going to be basically predicting the damage. It's not going to be in this game. We're going to start that giveaway in the next game. All you've got to do is predict the damage on the team that I tell you to predict the damage on. And then when I say stop, you just, well, anything after the stop predicting or stop now, as I will write, won't be counted. You will need to leave your in-game name along with your server and obviously how much damage you're going to actually cause or predict. And the closest to that damage output of that team, well, you may be the lucky winner of a battle pass. In the event that more than one of you, well, more than two of you get the same damage, then it will go in priority. Whoever predicted it first, they win it. So I didn't have time to go through the teams because they were flopping and changing all over the place. But here we go, Fort Despair. As you can see, Brace of IS4s there for Serenity. A Crown Wagon, a Mouse, and two E5s looking over at Reti, well, 215B, brace of IS4s, 2 Crown Wagons and a T22. Bit more mobility on the other team, although to be fair, well, look at the hit points there. Though Serenity have got more hit points, so here we go. It's all start. Now, Serenity already, we got Days making his way over to the corner by looks on it. He's going to be supported by the other E5 fly ticks. The Mouse of Spitfires, well, he's going to be heading for that main area overlooking the B-cap. Moving over, looking at Reti, well, the IS4s are also heading to the corner. The Crown Wagons are heading for the middle area to overlook the B-cap, try and get those resets. And Spitty is just sat back in the TD bush. So the Crown Wagons hoping to use their hold-down capability here, that absolutely rock-solid front armour on that turret, to cause a bit of a problem here for Serenity. Serenity, well, they're just playing it nice and simply at the moment, getting into position. C-cap will be taken by Reti. They will therefore get the cap lead, although Spitfires, predicting that there is no Mouse or other super heavy, is looking to make a little dash for the B, as much as you can dash in a Mouse, and at the same time try and put some pressure onto Vicky. Now, Peepoo Devil, Peepoo Plat are going to push down onto Vicky in that Crown Wagon. That's the focus fire, and Vicky is going to go down. Vicky's out. So already Serenity have managed to get a tank out of the game. That is going to be disappointing for Reti. Looking around here, because the IS-4s and the E5s are now tussling. It's 3-on-3. Forever Green is looking worse for wear. Charlie Scene is also looking really worse for wear. Oh, they're going to focus onto Brocky. And Reti really need to get their focus fire in. Flytix is looking to try and get that gun onto Charlie Scene. Yes, he does. But at the same time, Brocky goes down. But Days manages to take out Charlie Scene. Our No Pen comes in, trying to put some pressure onto Flytix here. We're missing out on what's going on the other side of the map. The 215B is absolutely being annihilated, to be honest with you. And that's his Max Spitty. Down, however, goes Flytix. Now Days is in a bit of hot water here. He's got 3-on-1. Can he survive? Well, he's looking to try and get the Ad-1 out, or the Addy, but he can't. He's being protected by Pencil Case and Al No Pen. I'm going to leave that. So Forever Green has gone down, and so has Max Spitty. So it is all over this side. It's 3 against 5. Days holding out as long as he could, putting as much firepower in as he could. Down goes the Addy, leaving Al No Pen in Pencil Case. Last men standing. Let's get in there. We're rolling with Al No Pen here as he tries to get out of there. Pencil Case, oh, No Pen is being penned all over the place. He's in a world of pain here. Pencil Case trying to help out, but Peepoo Plat is trying to take him down. Poor old No Pen. He's not going to last this battle. Now comes Spitfires in the Mouse. This one is going to go to Serenity, unless, of course, some miracle were to befall now. And as you can see, they're all rolling in, trying to take down poor old Pencil Case, who we're now rolling with. Not much he can do. They may have a base, they may have the points, but they don't have the guns on the battlefield. They certainly don't have the HP. And it's going to go to Serenity. Round 1. It is Serenity. Okay, so what we're going to do in this next game, this is the first game for the battle passes. As we can see here, damage dished out by Reti was 14,629. Damage dished out by Serenity was 18,302. For this game, you need to predict how much damage is Reti going to dish out in this game. So that's what you need to do. As I said, it doesn't need to be spot on. Closest damage, plus minus. Whoever's closest will get it. But that's what you need to do. You need to predict the closest damage, the damage that Reti is going to dish out in this game. Simple as that, really. Can't be harder. So just Reti's damage. Don't need combined. Just the damage dished out by Reti, if you don't mind. Pretty straightforward stuff. So looking at the teams, we have Serenity going off on the south spawn, Reti on the north spawn. We have People Devil in an E5, Flytix in an IS4, People Jail in a Crown Wagon, People Plat in a Can, Spitfires in a Mouse, Brocky in an IS4, and Days in an E5. Moving over to Reti, we have Charlie Scene in an IS4, Al No Pen T22, Max Spitty in a Cran, the Addy in an E5, Forever in a Mouse. I believe that's Forever. Who is that? I can't remember. Icky in an E5 and Vicky in a Cran. Forever what again? Forever Green, of course it is. How stupid can I be? Just mentioned him like numerous times. So that's what you need to do, guys. Remember, the damage dished out by Reti. That's all you need to predict. And anything that comes after me saying stop now in the chat will not be counted. Hit points, wow, it's in favour of Serenity again. They've got that moose. If you've got that mouse, then you're just going to be getting that extra HP. So let's get to the top and to the back. And as you can see already, we've got, this time, Serenity heading towards that C cap. Spitfires in the mouse is going to be overlooking B yet again. And he's going to have support from Days and People Devil. Moving around the map, well, interestingly, People Jail is going up high to have a look. We've already got the Addy and Icky. Oh, good shot by People Devil there. No, People Jail into No Pen. They're going to come across the E5s here of the Addy and Icky. And you see their shots were being traded. Forever Green in the mouse, he's heading to the B cap Overwatch as well. The Cranwagons also already there on the overlook. And Charlie Scene is in the ice wall right at the back of the map. So the B cap is being taken. Spitfire's just jostling around. He's worried about getting those cross shots from those Cranwagons. That's why he's moving out of that position. Don't blame him. I wouldn't want those cross shots either. Days, well, he's just holding his own there at the moment, just in case anything tries to flank. Brocky is being quite aggressive, trying to move forward, trying to get those shots in. Oh, Al No Pen gets penned yet again. The Addy now is having to retreat back towards his spawn here. You can see that Forever Green is also trying to get those cross shots in, and Spitfires is looking to put shots into Forever Green. Boom, there goes a shot. Poor old Forever Green getting a little bit of a smacking, but nothing to write home about. Back into this area, well, we've got the whole of Serenity looking in the C cap and trying to put those cross shots into Forever Green here. That one misses by quite a lot. Cranwagon and Vicky's come down to try and relieve some of that pressure. Charlie Scene is also coming in, trying to relieve it as well. Forever Green now has lost half his hit points. Days has moved around to have an overlook on the B cap. Aside from that, there's not much movement. Let's have a look, see what Days is doing, because he's trying to get the shots in as well. But he's got it all to do with Charlie Scene there coming in. And as you can see, they're face-hugging at the moment. And both, Days has dropped his reactive armor, but it's going to be just a brawl between those two. So it's back over to this area, because this is where it's all going to be happening. You can see Brocky, People Devil trying to push. Spitfire's also pushing. They're looking to try and take out Forever Green here. Forever Green is now a one-shot. Now he's a no-shot. So Forever Green is down. However, Reti at the moment have the advantage on the base points. Now we've got Spitty. Oh, Spitty and Vicky taking down Brocky. Now they're turning their attention to Spitfires. Spitfires could be in a bit of trouble here. People Devil's coming round. But look at the hit points whittled down here from Serenity. Don't forget, they had more hit points to begin with. Only just though, but they still have more hit points. Spitfires is now a two-shot. Icky, they're looking to try and get him down. People Devil puts a good shot in. 1100 goes in there as he gets double tapped. Can Flytix finish Icky off? I wouldn't have thought so, because he's a two-shot. Down goes Flytix. Sorry, not Flight. Yeah, down goes Flytix. Now, Spitfires again, but it's 3 against 5. Reti have got this. They've turned it around. Spitty may go down, but only People Devil and People Jail left. The Cranwagon and an E5. Spitty goes down, but I don't think... No, Jail can't do it on his own, bless him. He just won't be able to in that Cranwagon. Our No Pen is going to get there. So it's all over, realistically. And Serenity lose to Reti. Oof. There you go. See, that's the thing about these things. it all changes. All changes left, right, and centre. So remember, you had to look for the scores on Reti, and it was 19,370. There you go. Oof. Now we're going to move to Canal. We will have Reti on the north spawn, Serenity on the south spawn. I'm just going to look at the chat and try and take down all these people's names who are writing in. A lot of you were underestimating how much they were going to knock out. Right, rolling it up now. Last ones, guys. Last ones. You're going to have to change. You've got 30 seconds. $15 seconds left, and before we kick off, but I'm trying to write everything down. Okay, so that is it. We are now into the third game here on Canal. Can Reti continue this charge, or will Serenity bounce back? As you can see there with the hit points, wow, Serenity do take the hit point lead. This time they're rolling out with a grill. Spitfire's there in the grill. He's probably going to go up high onto this mound, give that overlook. You can see that Serenity very aggressive straight down into the Canal. The Crown Wagon's in Brocky there. Brocky's going to probably go straight across to that B cap. And you can see what Reti are doing. They're doing sort of the same thing, but in reverse. In fact, they go on to D, and they're going to send the E5s to C, with the Crown Wagon's just holding back here at that B cap. So you've got Days in the Pipu Plat. Well, Brocky gets a bit of a smack as he tries to roll in. Days will go and probably take the A cap, or maybe Spitfires in the grill. So at the moment, Reti have the cap advantage. However, the C and the B cap now become very difficult to claim. Now, what Reti have got to do, I mean, they've got their TVPs at the back here, which is fantastic. They've got 3 of them, as you can see. They've got Al No Pen, Spitty, and Charlie Sheen. So, although Al No Pen is moving around, they're just there that if anything tries to drop into that B or the C cap, then they can, in theory, almost clip it out. But you can see here what Serenity are trying to do. They're going to stack their tanks on the C cap, and that's exactly what they've done. That is interesting. Brocky will stay where he is. He will give the much needed spots for the grill. Serenity, well, I mean, they're behind at the moment, and trying to get that C cap ain't going to be easy, but they know that there's a lot of TVPs. So they're worried about that, which is probably why they're going this way and not to the B cap. It's simple as that. So Vicky sticking nose out. Pipu Jail just going around in the Leo just to try and get those spots. And just go right to the back here. You can see where the grill of Spitfires is. He's right at the back of the map. So looking over here, we've got the Addy hidden behind that rock just there, just haul down. Around, we've got Vicky just haul down there. TVPs are just sitting on the thing. Pipu Jail is just putting blind shots in because he knows they're there. The E5 just overlooking the C cap. How No Pen is rotating around. So Serenity know where the tanks sort of generally are. They just haven't spotted them. Pipu Jail has now been spotted. That's time by Vicky. So Pipu Plat is asking for assistance because they are moving. As you can see, they're pushing down the flank. There you go. They've spotted the E5s here. Are they going to put shots in? That's what they're going to hope to do, but they can't get the crossfires in. The E5s are nicely hauled down. And this is where it becomes a problem because the TVPs, they do things like that. And you saw old poor Alpha there getting half his hit points taken away from him. So Brocky and Alpha now, they've lost half their hit points. Pipu Devil is trying to drop into the C-cap, and he does, but is he going to be safe? He's safe so far from the TVPs. They can't shoot him from there, but they're also pushing Reti from the other side. Oh, was that an ammo rack? I don't know. I was just moving out, and Forever Green just went colossally down. I think that could have been an ammo rack. I'm not sure, though. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Spitfires is being pressured, however, at the top. Brocky has gone down. So, tanks down a piece. But Pipu Jow gets a good shot into Charlie there. Spitfire's coming round, looking for that grill. Icky is probably going to go down. Down he goes. 2 tanks down now for Reti. Here comes the Spitfires in the grill, looking for that shot. Oh, he leaves him on next day. He's going to ram him. But he doesn't get enough. And now Max Spitty is fully loaded. In fact, he's going to be clipped out by both of them. That is just damn right. And oh, he manages to take one down before he himself goes down. He didn't leave him on like 3 hit points or whatever it was. So now it is all changed. Serenity have the advantage. And you can see Al Nopen is looking for Pipu Jail there in that Vickers. Vickers? I meant Leopard. I can't remember. I can't believe I just said Vickers. B-cap has now been taken, but it's too late for Addy to do that. And Addy here, wow, he's doing what he can. But now Serenity will just retreat and go haul down. The only one up forward is Pipu Devil, and he's got to be careful. He has got to be careful, and he knows that, which is why he is now retreating. But Vicky is coming in to try and put some pressure onto Pipu Devil, and so is the Addy. Pipu Devil here is in a bit of trouble. He's got to be very careful, but then and so is Al Nopen. Down goes Devil. What about Al Nopen? Oh, can Days get the one more shot in whilst Al Nopen is still loading? This is the danger with the TVPs. Once they are clipped out, it takes a long time, but Alpha takes him down. So it's now 3 on 4. Scrub that. It's now 2 on 4. It's 2 against possibly too many. Vicky, doesn't matter because it's all done. Really good stuff. Great stuff there by Serenity. Good stuff by Reti, but I think that was an ammo rack on Forever Green, to be honest with you. And I think that, like all ammo racks, basically changed the game. So, we're going into Canal again, game number 4. This time, you need to predict the damage dished out by Serenity. Simple as that. Same again. You try and predict the damage knocked out by Serenity. And when I say stop now, anything after that won't count. All you need to do is predict the damage, give me your in-game name, and give me your server. Simple. So with that, we've got a minute to go. So So, just putting in the chat so everybody is clear. So, predict the damage dished out by Serenity. So, looking at Serenity, while they're going out on the north spawn, Reti this time on the south spawn. They're sticking with 2 TVPs this time, whereas Serenity has now got a mouse They didn't have a mouse last time, so it's going to be an interesting strat. And this is what happens in the Pro Series. They start to bring more strats out, ones that we haven't seen in the PYS. And looking at the hit points, wow, the hit points are in favour of Serenity. Still sticking with the grill, this time Brocky has jumped in it. Anyway, let's get up high into the back of the map. Although not too far back, because I don't think Serenity need that. Well, no, the E5s are going to be heading towards that decap. The Mouse and the Kranwagen of Spitfires and Alpha are heading to overlook. Peepoo Jail is already there in the Vickers. He spots No Pen. He also spots Icky, but the TVPs are en route. Dropping into that decap is Max Spitty. Charlie Scene, however, he's going to rotate. Well, no, he's pushing a little bit. And Peepoo Jelly is asking for help as the E5s, all three of them, try and make their way around, avoiding the cross shots as they do, despite Peepoo Devil getting spotted. C and decap have been taken by Reti as these TVPs hightail it out of there. Although that was a big roll into Max Spitty. He's not going to be happy about that, but he gets away with it. Oh, but Charlie also gets a big roll, so Peepoo Platt and Daze will take the cap back and try to get cross shots. Down goes Spitty. Oof. Out for the count in that TVP. You can see there, Peepoo Jail, Peepoo Devil, Peepoo Platt, the E5s all pushing towards the C-cap area. Trying to contain Reti here is what they're trying to do. Reti again on the back foot because they've lost that tank early doors, but that's what happens with the TVPs. I mean, they are easy to pen and they do like getting smacked by things like HE, for example. So now Brocky hasn't really done much this game, to be fair. Sat there in the grill. So A cap will be taken. C cap is being taken. So I mean, Reti have still got the cap advantage. Just going to move over here to see what Brocky is doing. He's just hiding in the corner for the moment. He's not showing himself just yet. Spitfires, well, he's just pulled back in the mouse. And basically it's Reti. Reti now, they can afford to defend. Even though they've lost a tank, they can afford to defend. And it all matters on what Serenity do. Serenity, again, need to make the moves. You can see over the far side of the map there, the Vickers and Peepoo Devil in the E5 are trying to move around, trying to get those spots. They've spotted Vicky. Vicky is out there at the moment. Charlie Scene has got to be very careful because he is effectively a two-shot, to be honest with you. Forever Green is in a good position though. Icky is just making sure that the B cap doesn't get smocked, but he just gets smacked. And here comes Serenity, keeping low, pushing down onto Icky there in the E5. Brocky are now moved in as well. Brocky's looking to put shots across. And that's a big shot into the Addy in the Kranwagen. But Spitfires, oh, Vicky goes down first. Spitfires, however, is a one-shot. Scrub that, he's a no-shot. But look at the points, it's still in favour of Reti at the moment. But there's a lot of low hit point tanks out there. The hit points are in favour of Serenity here. Brocky is looking to get that gun trained either onto the Kranwagen or the Vickers here, but he just can't do it. So he's going for Icky instead. Oh, my mouse is too sensitive. It really annoys me. He's going for Icky. Down goes Icky. That, however, has not put Serenity in the driving seat. They have just lost Peepoo Jail. Forever Green, well, Peepoo Devil needs to help finish Forever Green off to put them in the driving seat here. Down they go. They are now in the driving seat. Serenity have turned it around. Oh, Brocky just missing Al No Pen in the Vickers. That could have wiped him out completely. But Daze manages to do it. Charlie Scene is the last man standing. As you can see, it's basically a one-shot. So Peepoo Devil will be loaded by the time he gets there. Oh, trying to turn his turret, and it's taken down. So Serenity win. Well done, Serenity. Commiserations to Reti. Good go, though. And that was really good stuff by Serenity. They really helped. But again, Reti losing a tank really early. And as we can see here, Serenity's damage output was 16,725. So, there we go. Level 2 trading, you can't win twice. So that's it. That's game 1 finished now. Hopefully we should be in a position to have a chat with every good name is taken. Which what is exactly what we're going to do. Hopefully. But first, I need to press a button telling everybody to stop predicting. So, it'll be now. Right then, so... Let's see if we got any other... let's see if we've got any other results coming in. So, looking at the chart here... We had Endgame against APA. Oh, they're still playing. Moving down. Well, BPS have turned over A1N1. Still waiting for Loka and the other BPS. And they're still playing as well. So BPS are through. A1N1 waiting for to see who they are going to face. Same with Reti. Reti losing to Serenity. I'm just going to turn the sound down because we will be speaking to every good name is taken. And whilst that's happening with my headphones on, which I don't normally do, I'm going to have to go through to see who got close. Dee 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 dee. Bear with me while I try and work out who's possibly won. It's very difficult. Normally you would have moderators doing this, but most of my moderators are playing, oddly enough. Who is that? Do. Okay, so there we go. Let's just see if Mr. Everygood... Oh, Everygood name is taken is now here. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Food.
You there? Ah, there we go. So, how did that go? How do you think that went?
Very, very interestingly.
Oh, I thought...
Made the tiebreak, and it was very intense until the end.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought Reti were playing really well. To be honest with you, I thought. I mean, just out of interest, in the first game on Canal, I caught it in the glimpse of my eye. Was that an ammo rack on Forever Green?
I am Food. Remember, we didn't see the same game.
Oh no, we didn't. Oh yeah, forgot that. It's the next game we see the same game.
Yes, indeed. Because I've been watching APA Endgame.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Hang on a minute. Why have I got my ugly mug on whilst I'm showing a replay? There we go. Yes, you have. I forgot that. For some reason, I thought we were doing the same game, but the next game, we're doing the same game.
Indeed, we do.
Wow. I mean, Reti were doing well, but they had an ammo rack on Canal. So they lost the first game to Serenity, won the second game, and then lost the third game.
Bad, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So they lost the first game to Serenity. They lost the first game to Serenity. Won the second game, really played it well. Lost the second game, but I think they had an ammo rack on an E5 really early in the game, which and he did 0 damage. So, and I'm pretty sure he did. Interestingly, Serenity took a grill on Canal twice.
Endgame did that too in their last game.
Oh really? Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what they're looking at. And then in the second game, it wasn't an ammo rack, but poor old Max Bitty and his TVP got whittled down like in very early doors in the game as he was trying to escape from the decap. And it's but they were holding up well, but Serenity just managed to basically push back. And well played by Serenity, but you know, commiserations to Reti. They did play well. They did play well. And if it was an ammo rack, then I can only feel sorry for them because, like most ammo racks, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it can be really. But yeah, my game was very, very abnormal. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It was very interesting. So the first two Fort Despair games, APA just absolutely dominated Endgame. Endgame lost both of those and just, I don't know what exactly was the reason, but they couldn't handle them. Not sure what exactly it was, but APA just played very, very well. And then the next two Canal games, APA was trying to be aggressive because, you know, they had won the first two games on match point. You can start being risky, which, you know, is a fine choice. It's a strategy, putting pressure on your opponent. But Endgame, turning it really around, able to just stop the push that APA had made, and were able to win that game. And the same thing more or less happened in game 2 on Canal. So Endgame won those as well. Mm-hmm. Meaning they stopped two pushes that happened from APA whilst being under pressure of that match point. So we had to go to Faust for tiebreak.
Okay.
And that was very, very close as well, because it went down to both teams being at around 2.6 KHB at the end. With Endgame taking very good map control at the start of the game, but just being out-focused.
Right.
And they couldn't keep their tanks alive, whilst APA had, I think, 3 one-shots at the end and a 2-shot. But Endgame was just not quite able to do it, and APA actually won that 3-2.
Okay.
So I don't think a lot of people expected this kind of a result, but I mean, you know, I'm not mad about it. It just means that Endgame is under heavy pressure, and so is Reti for possibly dropping out on day 1.
Well, Endgame are under immense pressure. Have they ever been in that position?
They might have in the past, but not to my memory. At least not in recent time. Seeing as how dominant they were throughout the season, at least, right?
Well, absolutely.
Other than maybe when they lost against Vale day 1, that one previous skill.
Yeah, but they had 6 players.
But the stakes are different. Let's put it that. So, what do you expect from this game, Endgame versus Reti?
I don't know, because I really like Serenity. I think they are.
It's not Serenity footage. We're watching low brackets.
Oh yeah, we are watching low brackets. Reti, well no, Reti unfortunately. I mean, the problem is I was too busy doing this battle pass as well, which I've got no mods. I've got no mods at the moment for whatever reason.
Just rewatch the stream then. Don't worry about it. Just rewatch and then check the chat.
No, I've done it now, but yeah, with no mods, it's pretty difficult. Anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, Reti and Endgame. Well, you'd have to put it in Endgame's court. However, Reti can do it. I mean, okay, they lack a little bit on their focus fire, if I'm being honest. They do lack a little bit on their focus fire. Endgame, however, I'm surprised they're in the position that they're in, is the honest answer. And I'd expect them to come back more powerful than they normally are. Because when they want to be aggressive, they're aggressive. And when they're really aggressive, they're totally impossible to counter. So
I think what happened against APA here for Endgame was that more or less they got out aggressiveness, kind of, by APA at the beginning in Fort Despair, so they couldn't handle that. They were also just, I don't know, they just didn't play their top game. They really changed it up though on the Canal games, like playing how they usually do. Just very focused, very controlled. They did make a very risky play, which APA did start. They abused that fully because they realized it. Because two mediums tried to rotate away from the heavy tanks. The APA was like, let's push that because there's two tanks less. They also knew where the other two were, so pushing that was not that hard. But Endgame just rolled back and let the rest of the team do their thing, and APA was not aggressive enough. So, if Endgame is controlled in these games now, then they definitely should not have a hard time, considering that Reti just barely managed to jump into top 8 on the last day. But I don't want to put Reti completely out of the question, of course. They did make it to top 8, not for no reason after all, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they can do it. As I said, they didn't play badly tonight. I'll be honest with you. They really didn't. I mean, okay, Serenity were better coordinated and seemed to have better mobility and movement around the map than Reti. But I keep going back to that first game on Canal, where they got an ammo rack. I mean, they were in control of the game, to be honest with you. In fact, they were in control of both Canal games. Don't get me wrong, Serenity did a good push, but in both of the Canal games, if the first one was an ammo rack, that's a gun out of the battle for no damage really early, and that put them under pressure. And in the second game, they lost their TVP very early, whilst he was trying to escape from the danger zone. There were two of them. It just so happened that Max Bitty got focused. And this is what I was saying about Serenity. Their focus fire is a little bit better than Reti's. And they did use the grill to good effect, to be fair. But it wasn't like Serenity had an easy run of it, because they really didn't. It looked, if you're watching it, it looks pretty easy, but it really wasn't that straightforward for them. Reti did make them work for it. They really did. Considering that they played most of the game, 95% of the game with only 6 tanks.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Which is tough, as you know, yeah. It's not easy. It is not easy when you've only got a few tanks. You've got a tank less. Your hit points. You just look at the hit point difference. You're like, really? What? Hey, what? And they had the cap advantage. They did have the cap advantage, and they were using it to trying to defend it, but they just couldn't with the gun down. Simple as.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to these games in general, because all the first 4 games I watched were not typical for the maps that were played. Meaning that Fort Despair is usually a very slow game, very composed. Turned out to be, or not actually. Sometimes it's very aggressive, but it turned out to be a mix of just absolute map control, which on a small map like that is not easily doable.
No, it's not, and it's you can see that. In the first game, Serenity played it really well. They had good positioning. They sort of anticipated where Reti were going to go. In the second game, Reti had better positioning, and they to be fair, they annihilated Serenity. It wasn't 7-0, but I think it was 5. They ended up with, it was basically, they killed 7, and they only had 5 tanks left. So 7-2, I think that is. So they really did play it well. But Fort Despair, you're right. It's a very condensed map. There's not many different types of strats you can do on it. There's different meta selection, but there's not really that many different strats you can play. the A cap is very difficult to get, as everybody knows. It's incredibly difficult, and you've always got tanks overlooking it. Some teams like to send. I mean, it used to be mediums. Now they're sending heavies out to that far corner overlooking the A cap. But when you've got the Kranwagens, because they used to be Vickers, they're now sticking Kranwagens on the ramps up to the B cap. The A cap just becomes a nightmare. So it's all around the B cap and the C cap, really.
Yeah, but the thing was in the game that I watched as well of APA Endgame, as I said, it just wasn't the normal Canal game because it was just full forcing both teams over D, that side in the corner there. As you said, usually it's a BC cap play with one side going A and one D, or they just meet on one of these sides. But that just wasn't the case. None of the teams went for C or B specifically. They just in one game happened to cap it, on the way through. But I'm not sure if that will be the case for the next games as well, where it's just an unconventional strat from both teams specifically, or if it's just happened to turn out this way. So I'm excited.
Well, so am I. I mean, I've seen some different strats employed tonight on Canal, to be honest with you. I mean, as you say, normally it is between, fast cap B, fast cap C, and either go D and A. I haven't seen that tonight with Reti and Serenity. Neither tried to fast cap B or C, to be honest. We had Reti taking their mediums, which in the first game happened to be, I think, 4 TVPs, all the way around to the D cap. And then Serenity taking their heavies aggressively to the B cap, and they started on the C cap side. So and I'm seeing a lot of that recently. I saw it on Asia earlier as well, where clans now in the attempt to try and get different strats for these maps are doing basically more aggressive things, which is interesting. I mean, they're rushing over those bridges and taking those E5s down and trying to get around the map. But on the same token, Reti did the same thing. They did not take their E5s and their heavies into that B cap. They dropped them down into the Canal on the D cap side to try and get round to C. So it's been great to see this sort of stuff. It's not the usual, we'll cap A and B, you cap C and D, and we'll see who gets there first. Which is what it used to be. It used to be that. Really, yeah. But I'm seeing different things, which is fantastic. Same as Fort Despair, as I said. I mean, Fort Despair, we're seeing the same sort of similar type of strats, just a change in the meta as the clans are trying to think out new things to do on such a small map with very limited options. To be fair,
yeah. Especially since how ingrained the strats already are, because it's a very old map too. So
yeah, it is.
Pulling in a new meta is hard. Even with the Kranwagen coming in and the TVP, and even arguably the Vickers, which also kind of still isn't new, the meta didn't change that much on the map itself. So
no, not really. But it's like,
interesting.
I mean, thinking about the games that we're about to see, I mean, Port Bay, another old map, another one that on the face of it, it looks big, but I mean, are we going to see the typical have a mouse, send it towards the B cap, send a light or a medium, typical, yeah, send a light and a medium over to spot C if we're going to do the A strat, or send them everybody to C and send a light or a medium to the A cap, or as I'm seeing now more often, stick a Kranwagen if you spawn on that side over to the rock overlooking the A cap, so if anything drops in you can smack it. I mean, I can see that they're trying to reinvent new strats, but again, Port Bay, a very old map, and again, it's just they're trying to tinker with the meta. New Bay, however, we've got, and that's a newish map, so it's always interesting to see what they do there. And what was the third map? I can't remember now.
Rockfield is the tiebreaker.
Oh, Rockfield again, another old map. And again, are they going to be sending everybody to A with overlook on B and your Vickers or your medium on the ramp overlooking sort of the C lane? It's again, and I feel sorry for the clans because, with certain maps, they look big, but they're actually they're not that big in real terms.
with Rockfield also, even if it is uh, God damn it, the tiebreaker, it's gonna be interesting if we get there, if they do some changes, because throughout the season, teams have usually played the same, like more or less a similar meta, but BPS branched out of it with
Hmm.
Zerd in this 268. So I'm interested to
Okay.
see if we maybe see another team also maybe including a TD on that map because it's usually
Uh,
very risky. But
Actually,
BPS made it work all the
well,
time.
Rockfield isn't the decider. New Bay is. So we are going to
Nope.
see. That's what
No,
I've
no,
got.
no, 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 food.
Port Bay, Rockfield, New Bay, lower bracket.
Hey,
Yeah. I thought it was Port Bay, New Bay, but it's not. It's Port Bay, Rockfield, New Bay.
it just
So
moved. What the heck?
yeah,
A moment, a
they
moment
do this
ago,
to test you.
a moment ago, it said Rockfield last. What the heck? That is confusing. All right. Well, if
They
New
do it
Bay's
to
a
test you.
tiebreaker, I think both these teams are going to be breathing a bit because it's not a favorite of any team. I don't think.
No, it's not. I mean, the thing that we try to find, the thing that we can almost be guaranteed on Rockfield is there will be a brawl somewhere.
That is true. It's either on C or on A, with
Correct.
maybe a tank or two fighting at B. That's usually how it ends up.
And depending on their meta selection, and I'm expecting one of them, maybe not both, but I'm expecting Super Heavies to make an appearance on Port Bay
Yeah.
to overlook at that B lane, which is
I
normal.
mean, already seeing an STB for Reti here and double T22, a very light lineup for this heavy meta. No mouse so far.
No, not at the moment.
But I mean, an ISO can basically do the same job. The reason you take a mouse is it's very big. So if you do intend to push on B, because it's a mouse, usually you ignore it. So and you shoot something else. So cap is pretty high success rate. It can also cover itself very well because of its hit points. But seeing as there's no mouse at play here, we might see Endgame's IS4 doing it because it's similar. Can side scrape has a lot of hit points compared to like an E5, for example. But
Oh yeah, I mean, but they're both going for mobility. I mean,
they
two
really do.
T22s, an STB1 on Reti's team.
We also see Triple Kran. Recently, there's been a lot of boosts in their own sides near the seaside. So we might see that happen with one of the Kranwagens being pushed up for Reti here.
Well, looking at Reti's meta, I can't see them doing anything other than maybe going C-strap with those haul down tanks, 3 crans and an E5. STBs also haul down realistically. T22s can move around nicely, so can the STB, but I really can't see them putting those on the flat. Looking at Endgame, however, I mean, they've got a brace of haul downs apart from the IS4 as well. I mean, 2 Crown Wagons, 2 T22s, 2 E5s. Maybe we'll get a brawl at sea.
Might happen.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, it could be. It could be that way. I mean, I can't. You just never know with these guys. I mean, you turn around and say, "Oh, I can't expect them to start looking at, you know, not going into a position where there's no haul down capability because these guys can do anything like that." To be fair.
It's gonna be interesting. Like, Reti is a mix of just stable with the triple crown being able you can just hold straight up, and but also triple mediums. So it's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It will be interesting. Well, it's going to be good fun, and we've got just under a minute and a half to go, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So, who do you predict?
I think it's gonna be a 3-1 for Endgame.
Well, that's an
That's
interesting
my
one.
guess.
Okay. Well, I think Reti will be thinking that they've got a chance here, and I think they're going to give them a hard time. I mean, I'm going to have to probably say, yeah, probably 3-1 as well to Endgame. But I haven't seen Endgame play yet. I've seen Reti play. I'm only giving that because I know Endgame can do it. But if Endgame are not on their game, then Reti can quite easily turn it.
Yeah,
Well, let's
that
see.
will be the end.
Absolutely.
I'll leave you with that then. Just quickly
Indeed.
making
Well,
a rest
have a good
giveaway, and we'll see
have a
each
good-
other after the games then.
Indeed.
Let's
Have a
see how
good commentary. Talk to you in a bit. Bye for now, mate. Right, just got a bit of time to stick the sound back on because I had to turn it down. There we go. Sound's back on. And I can take those back off again. Oof. Right, so as I was saying there, all you need to do is predict the damage that Endgame will do in this game. Remember, guys, predict that damage. Don't forget to stick in your in-game name and server, and away we go here on Port Bay. This is a position that Endgame don't normally find themselves in, to be fair. Reti will be feeling that they've got a chance here. Hit points are in favour of Endgame, mainly because of the IS-4. It's going to be an interesting one. So let's get up high and see. I mean, looking at the tank selection, I can't see much other than a lot of C-Strat. We've already got Winch and Orca heading that way, and looking at the map, well, virtually the whole of Reti are going that direction as well. Reti dropping down already in the two T-22s of Charlie and our Nopen. So Winch and Orca are spotted. Spitty very aggressive through the middle in the STB there, getting up high very quickly. Radikos and the IS-4 is the only one looking on the B lane. So it's going to be a brawl around here with the T-22s. They're going to stay as much as they can behind this bump. Good shots going into Spitty there. I'm just going to leave the T-22s for the moment to brawl. The Crown Wagon's going all down at the C-cap here. Toby there trying to get the shots in. Puts a good shot into Icky. And you can see Carolade and Vicky and Icky very far forward. Icky has been tracked. That may put the shots coming across from the T-22s. And you can see there Winch is in fact doing that. And whilst they are distracted putting those cross shots in, Charlie and Nopen are going to push. And they are pushing. But Charlie really getting wrecked. Orca being protected by Winch. Orca's now down to a one shot. Orca is now down to a no shot. We're going to leave that. Toby is in trouble as well. The Addy is looking to take him down here. It depends who's going to roll up first. And down he goes. First tank down for Reti here. And that is Vicky. Pencil case now is being focused on. So at the moment, Endgame are in trouble here. Isle of Susie is also a now potential one-shot. Definitely a one-shot now. And Susie goes down. So 4 tanks down. They also lost Winch. The other T-22, but 2 tanks gone. Pencil case is down. Vicky is down. However, the 2 T-22s of Al Nopen. Icky is now down. Object 3 is now coming in. It's 3 against 4. Hit points are favouring Reti, not Endgame. Now it's 2 against 4. Endgame are looking worse for wear here. Object 3 doing what he can, but Al Nopen really doing some great stuff here. Object's going to go down. It's going to be out for the count for poor old Object 3. Down he goes, leaving Radikos as the last man standing for Endgame. And this is going to go to Reti. Well played by Reti. Good brawling, good movement, catching Endgame on the back foot. Wowzers. Poor old Radikos, nothing he can do about it. And it's all over. So you needed to predict the damage done by Endgame. And that damage was 14,029. Okay, we're now going to go into the second game. This time, I need you to predict the damage that will be dished out by Reti. That's right, this time it's Reti. So I need the damage for Reti, guys. So same, but this time, damage for Reti, please. So it'll be... There we go. So looking at the way they're readying up here, again, Endgame going with exactly the same meta. Moving over to Reti. Wow, they've changed it a little bit. They've brought in Icky in an IS-4 this time. They've dropped the STB and they've dropped a T22. To be fair, level 2 trading did tell everybody to stop, so you need to stop from part. I'll give you that one because you retracted, but I'll give you that one. Here we go. So hit points gain in this time in favour of Reti, sorry, not in favour of Endgame, mainly because Reti now have got that IS-4. Let's get up high and to the top. Endgame have got it all to do. They've got to turn it around here. They are 1-0 down at the moment. Radikos is going to the B cap area again, and the rest of the team are going back to the C cap. So it's pretty much the same strat, but in reverse. This time, Orca and Winch. Well, there's only one T22 on the opposite team this time, so Orca is going over. Winch is going to carry on joining him. However, Reti are not here, apart from Charlie. Charlie Scene is there. Endgame will therefore be able to rush into C. And they do. Radikos is alone again, looking at Reti. Well, they've got the A cap, so they'll take the cap advantage. Icky is dropping into the B cap. Radikos needs to reset that, but I don't think he can at the moment. He's looking to try. Oh, that is a reset. Now we've got Winch and Idol of Susie Bay turning around, coming back through their spawn, looking to try and make sure that nothing comes down that B route and over that A flank. Oof! Winch getting a smacking from the other side of the map there and from the Cranvag in a pencil case. Icky getting smacked yet again as he tries to capture that B cap. You can see he's just rotated back around the corner. That way, he's in safety. Endgame, well, their backs are against the wall. Only by about 10 points though. They just need to take a tank, and you can see what they're doing. They're stacking up over on this side. Orca and Winch are going to look to try and push onto Vicky. They don't know Vicky's there, not per se, but they know that A tank is going to be there. But Vicky is in a great position in that coal. Hull down, very difficult to dislodge from this angle. No pen manages to pen Orca. Icky, however, there goes my overactive mouse again. It's very sensitive today. It's very sensitive, full stop. Magic mouse, my backside. So there we go. I mean, Radikos, well, he's managed to reset, but look at this. Reti are pushing down and through to the C-cap area. This is good stuff from Reti. They are going to catch Carolade off guard, but Object 3 and Toby are there. Susie Bay also coming in, but at the other side of the map, you've got Orca being surrounded. They may be able to check out Charlie Scene here. Charlie Scene is now a one-shot Susie. Oh no, goes down to Toby. So Carolade looked like he was being isolated, but now, oh, look at poor the Addy losing so many hit points because of his guy's turret. He does take down Carolade though, despite losing a shed load of hit points because the turret landed on him from Charlie. But what to do? Orca's still tussling over there in the corner. The Addy is going to go down. Addy is down. Orca is still alive. Winch has come round to help him out. They're going to try and push together onto Vicky. Vicky's in an E5 down. Great shot by Winch. Orca bouncing. Vicky, though, I'm not going to last that battle. Let's quickly get back over here. And I mean quickly because we're going to run out of tanks before we do. Spitty is down here. I mean, I Love Susie Bay's gone down as well. But Max Spitty, Radikos has come in. No pen and Spitty are the last two standing. This one's going to go to Endgame. They've got the points, they've got the hit points, they've got the guns on the battlefield. So it's going to go to Endgame. Endgame leveling the score here. And there we go. Now it's just no pen left. watching go. Oh, good shot in by Object 3, taking out No Pen. There we go. So, we needed the damage count for Reti. And the damage count for Reti was 11,000. 3, 4, 5. So now we move into Rockfield. Don't forget, guys, it's best of 5, which means it's the first of 3 victories. Here on Rockfield, we will have Endgame on. That north spawn, Reti on the south spawn. No predictions with this one. Okay, got 30 seconds to go before we kick in. Hollow Purple is here. He's just not in the game at the moment. So, looking at the way they're rolling out here, we've got a brace of light all down tanks, apart from the IS-4 of Radikos, employed by Endgame. Same goes for Reti, although they haven't got an IS-4. So, looking at the hit points, wow. Endgame just topping it, but only just. Only just. So let's get up high and to the back of that map. You can see here that we got Winch heading towards the A-cap. Caroline is going to go on Overwatch with Toby also sort of in support. The E5s here of I Love Susie Bay, Orca and Object 3 all moving towards the C-cap. Radikos is going with them. Moving over to what Reti are doing, well, the Heat 5s are just holding back at the moment. The Cranwagon's in the middle. There's Charlie Scene and Al No Pen up at the A-cap. But they're going to be facing off against Toby and Winch. There's Toby, there's Winch. Oh, Toby gets a bit of a smack. He's the first, he's got a bloody nose there. Charlie and No Pen, well, they're looking to push in. Object 3 is going to take the C-cap. So he's going to give the advantage to Endgame. But Reti held their tanks back in reserve just for this reason. Now they're going to start making their push up. It is 5 against, well, 2, 3, because Susie's here as well. And Orca getting tunneled there a little bit. Object 3, well, is he able to cap? Yes, he is. He's only just able to cap, though. Now he's in a world of pain. He's got to drop his speed boost and get out of there. He gets tracked. Didn't help. He may not manage it, and he doesn't manage it. Great focus fire by Reti. Object 3 is down and out for the count. That means Endgame are on the back foot, and Reti are now looking to take out Susie, I Love Susie Bay. Trying to get those HE rolls into the back. And that's number 1, number 2. And can Icky finish him off? Radikos coming in, but I Love Susie Bay is down. 2 tanks down. Winch is also looking worse for wear on the other side of the map. And at the moment, okay, Icky is down, but Winch is also gone. 3 tanks down for Endgame. 1 down for Reti. Charlie comes in to put some pressure onto Orca. Orca is in trouble. Endgame are in trouble. Let's not mince our words here. Orca is going to go down. There's no two way about it. Charlie will take him down here. Down he goes. Toby is taking A, but Radikos will go down. Endgame are going to lose this. Oh, the Addy goes down, but so does Radikos, leaving Carolade down here. Let's get down with Carolade, actually. No point going with Toby at the moment. He's on the other side of the map at the A-cap. Ooh, what can I say? Poor old Carolade, down he goes. Toby's coming in, but he's on his long reload. It's 1 against far, far, far too many. Endgame. Wow. It's all over for them. Reti. 2-1 advantage. And match point. Match point. Oof. Great stuff by Reti. Really good strat on that C-cap. I like the way they held back those E5s and those Crown Wagons and then waited. Excuse me. It's very dusty here. I'm in the middle of the desert. There's sand everywhere. They just waited for the C-cap to pop and then they just rushed it en masse. 5 against 3. Poor old Object 3 going down. So Endgame got a lot of work to do. Can they turn it around? We are now with Endgame on the south spawn, Reti on the north spawn. So, looking at the tanks. Endgame, well, they're bringing in a WZ113 this time for Orca. Moving over to Reti, well, at the moment, oh, no. Pretty much, although Icky, Icky wasn't in an IS-4 last time. So pretty much the same, apart from Icky dropping out of a tank. So they've only got 2 Crown Wagons this time, rather than, no, they had 2 last time, 3 E5, so they've dropped, they've still got 3 E5s. I don't know what Icky was in last time. Pretty much the same meta for Reti. Moving over to Endgame, well, as I said, Orca's dropped into a WZ113 this time. They still got 3 E5s, but they've dropped the IS-4. Radikos was in an IS-4. I mean, that's not there. Radikos this time is dropping into an E5. Endgame, I'm not going to lie, I mean, this is potential game winner for Reti at the expense of Endgame. Which means Endgame would, well, basically go out of the spring season. Simple as that, really. So, Endgame, pretty much the same strat as what we just saw, to an extent. Although instead of sending somebody with winch, it was Toby last time. There's nobody going with winch this time. They're all going to sea with the Crown Wagons overlooking. Icky is overlooking the B cap in the IS-4. That's unsurprising. Crown Wagons are just holding back. And the rest of Reti are pushing into the A cap. With Addy dropping in straight away. Cross shots already going in. Into Carolade, actually. So Carolade getting in Toby there. And, you know, you would have thought they would be pretty secure over that side being hauled down like that. Carolade dropping down. I don't know what Carolade is doing, to be honest with you. In fact, Carolade is now like in the middle of the open. Trying to put pressure onto Icky, but Icky's already capped. So, Endgame, I mean, Carolade is in a precarious position here. Very precarious indeed. I mean, he is going to go down. He's now a 2-shot. Well, he's now a 1-shot. I don't know why he did that. I mean, that's unlike him. I mean, he was too late to reset the B cap. It was a bizarre move by Carolade. He obviously had something in his mind. And I can't really... I'd hate to say anything because, I mean, the guy is one of the best players in the game. Down he goes. So, but Vic has also gone down. Now we've got Radikos and Orca pushing down on Pencil Case. Pencil Case here is in a world of pain. He's not going to last. Down he goes. So 2 tanks down. Looking at the hit points. Well, they're still with Reti now. Reti come en masse onto Radikos. Down goes Radikos. So 2 tanks down apiece. However, can Isle of Susie Bay come round and help out, relieve the pressure on Toby in Object 3? This is a bit of a brawl. Toby goes down, so 3 tanks down now for Endgame. 3 tanks down for Reti. Spitty goes out, but the points are favouring Reti. Down goes Orca. So now Endgame on the back foot. Again, this is really not looking good for Endgame. They're in danger of going out in the early stage of this tour. Object 3 is in a world of pain. So is the Addy. I mean, the Addy will probably go before Object 3. Susie Bay... No, he doesn't. I Love Susie Bay was coming in to try and help, but just too little too late. It's now 3 against 2. Hit points are in favour of Reti. I Love Susie Bay now is just being absolutely pummeled. Endgame are going out. This is a shocker. Winch is the only one standing, and he's in a Vickers. He is not going to last. Wow. Shocking. Who would have thunk it? Massive congratulations to Reti. I said to Every, if you know, I hadn't seen what Endgame were playing like, but wow, that was not their best. But Reti, I have to admit, Reti have played their hearts out. You cannot deny how well Reti have just played. Awesome stuff by Reti. Really, really awesome. Anyway, let's have a look at the damage. Remember, you have to do the damage for Endgame. It was 14,503. That's how much they dished out. So, wowzers. Literally, wowzers. Let's try and talk to Every Good Name Is Taken again and find out. Oof. Unbelievable. So, let's see. I mean, that's a shocker. It's just a shocker. Let me just drop the noise again. I'm stunned, to be fair. I am stunned, to be fair. I'm going to jump into general. Bear with me. Oof. Wow, shocker. That's all I can say. Absolutely shocking. I wouldn't have expected that. I really wouldn't have expected that. Craziness of the highest degree. Let's have a look at Group 2 and see what happened in Group 2. So Group 2 was A1M1 against BPS. They're still playing. Shocker.
Very big shocker.
Shocker. There you go, look. What do you think of that?
Expected. First in the leaderboard and the biggest favorite to go out on day one.
No, exactly. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. I'm a bit surprised, to be fair. Firstly, I'm surprised that Hollow Purple wasn't playing.
Nico, yeah.
And that does surprise me, because who's the caller for Endgame normally?
I don't know. It might actually be Nico. But
The reason I ask is because in one of the PYSs, Nico didn't turn up for a couple of games, and they did look a little bit disjointed. And I have to say that with tongue in cheek, because I mean, these are some of the best players on the EU server. Let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, they've all done a shed load of battles and they've got genuine win rates. And, you know, they can play the game a lot better than I ever would. But they just seem to be a little bit disjointed when Nico's not there.
Yeah.
To be
What
fair.
I've noticed, and it might have been Reti cracking the case, so to speak, for Endgame here, which seems that, you know, usually Endgame is the aggressor and they handle that very well, although they can play passively. I think what they just cannot handle is being aggressive on. They did manage APA's pushes twice, but because they had knowledge about it. And the Reti just used the right moments to push in all of these games. And I think Endgame can't handle the aggression. It might have to do with Nico missing. I'm not sure of that. But that was absolutely shocking.
Well, that's not the end game. I mean, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Reti. Reti played their hearts out, and they deserve the win. Okay, and I said in the street, we said at the beginning before the games, I said to I'm predicting 3-1 as well. But I hadn't seen Endgame play, and if Reti pulled their socks up, they could do it. And well, they did it. So nothing's being taken away from Reti. They played spectacularly. But let's be honest, that is not the end game that we normally see.
No,
and it really isn't.
More to, what I meant to say, I might have phrased it a bit wrong, is that maybe Reti figured out a way to break the end game norm, you see? Because APA showed it earlier that you can. It is very easy, feasible to beat endgame. They're not impossible to beat.
Of course they're not.
And they did in one of the games put aggression against endgame, which put them under pressure. Again, I don't know if it has to do with Nico missing or not, but it put quite a big part of it. And considering that Reti in all of the games that they won, they have been very aggressive and very successfully so. It might be that is Endgame's, Achilles. I don't know though. It's just a hypothesis. Maybe they just weren't in top form, but Reti played this phenomenally.
Well,
they exploited the.
I have one question. Well, I've got one question for you that I mentioned in the stream, and I'm still scratching my head now. And you're a really good player, so you can, and you've played tournaments, and you can explain this one to me. What was Carole doing in that second game on Rockfield?
Which tank was he in?
He was in the Crown Wagon. He died straight away. The B cap was being taken by Icky in the IS4. And Carole dropped down from his position. He was next to Winch, I believe. He dropped down from his position, went right into the open. He had no chance of resetting the B cap. It was taken. And he just got absolutely wrecked by everybody. And not being funny, but Carole is firstly a very experienced player, and secondly a very, 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 very good player. And that seemed like a really big schoolboy error, unlike a sort of move I would expect from someone like Carole. To be honest with you,
it's not really him making a mistake per se. The move to go down to B is normal, and has been done quite frequently before. It's just more down to the fact that that move is now really predictable, because a lot of teams in a lot of seasons also have done it. No, let me keep talking. Because, for example, I've seen, I'm not sure who played against them, but BPS, the team with Zerd, not sure which of them that is, it's very confusing. But they also did the same. They had someone cap B, they set up where the two Kranwagens popped out from Reti, but just far behind with their 268 and a tank next to him, and they just shot down the IS-4 that was trying to stop that B cap. And that's what happened to Karo here. He got set up by the IS-4 that wasn't B. He just capped it. Regardless of what happened, it would have been a profit for them. But someone peeking there just was perfect for what Reti planned, because they had two Kranwagens set up for exactly that to happen. And he just got played, basically. It wasn't his error specifically. He just did what anyone normally would have done. It's just that Reti, those double crans, that was so good.
No, I don't disagree. All I was going to say was, everything you said makes perfect sense. except for the fact that most of those tanks had been spotted. He knew where those tanks were. The Crown Wagons
The
had been
Crown Wagons
spotted.
weren't. They weren't. When they
I thought
peaked, they got spotted, but not prior.
Because don't forget, he'd already been shot twice from the A cap. He knew that there were things over there looking at B. That's why I'm querying it. Because it's just not like, wow. It was just a move that I wouldn't have expected. Say again, sorry? I don't know. I'd have to recheck the replay. I don't think they. I think I thought they'd been spotted. Let me just check the replay.
You can't, because as spectators we don't get replays.
No, I'm going back through the stream.
Yeah, I could do that too. But to my knowledge, these clans had not been seen. Yep, they were the only things unspotted. The eyes for Icky was spotted. The E5s and the Vickers had been seen thanks to Winch's scouting, but these clans were invisible. They hadn't been seen yet. I have it right now on my screen as well.
Because here goes Carolade now. He drops down now. So far, what I've got on the screen is Charlie's spotted.
Well.
I've got Vicky spotted, who's in a Crown Wagon. Max Spitty in the E5 spotted, and Charlie Seen in the E5 spotted. Pencil Case was not spotted, and he was in the other Crown Wagon. So when Carolade dropped down, and don't forget the IS4 of Icky wasn't spotted, but he's in the B cap. So when Carolade dropped down, 2 E5s and a Crown Wagon were spotted. The Vickers, which was sat in the A cap, wasn't. Icky wasn't, who was sat in the B cap, and the other Pencil Case in the other Crown wasn't spotted. That's why
I'm saying he didn't know the Crown Wagons were there.
Nobody knew the E5s. I mean, what the E5s are.
Him to peek there is fine, because the E5s are top there. They can't get easy shots on Caro. He's free to shoot Icky here in this situation. He just didn't know that the Crown Wagons would peek on that corner. Just when they pushed out, because they knew Caro had no backup. Everything was on the C side other than Winch, who, poked some shots onto the heavies. So they were easily able to peek here. Endgame actually reacted quite well, regardless of that. Because they put a lot of damage onto these Crown Wagons, also ended up pushing them. It was just that they made the perfect trap for someone, and Caro was just the one who fell into it. So I can't really blame him here for anything.
Well, yes and no. I mean, he's still an amazingly experienced player. I'm not querying anything like that. I'm just saying, I wouldn't expect things like that to be done by Endgame, if you know what I mean. It's normally Endgame who sucker. It's normally Endgame. Let's be honest here. Endgame are normally the ones who sucker other clans and other teams into their traps. It's not like Endgame gets suckered into traps normally. So that's why I'm just very surprised. Very surprised, to be honest with you. But, what else can you say? I mean, in the second game on Port Bay, that was more like the end game that I know. In the first game, well, again, not questioning Winch and Orca in the 22s. They had the ability to put the cross shots into the STB, etc., up on the top, and they did that. But then they got wrecked themselves by the two T22s reacting from Reti, which was fantastic.
They lost that brawl absolutely, hands down.
But
that was also was lost by them.
Yeah, but that was great foresight, basically, by Reti to say, "Whoa, hang on a minute. These two T22s are focused on that side of the map. Let's push them." And it just wow. And then you're right. Over the other side, they'd lost it already.
It just Reti played phenomenally that first game. Not just in the way they focus fight, because they did focus in very well, but also with just their reaction, because they saw they were starting to win the heavy fight because they had better focus, and the T22s were going down. Because you saw when I don't actually know which of the first T22s went down, but one of them died.
Orca was the first, yeah.
So it basically already was okay. We are going to win this corner regardless. And they even won it without losing one of their T22s.
They didn't lose it. They didn't lose either of them. They survived. Both T22s survived that brawl, and And one of them,
having
I
that
think,
reassurance, because you have these extra tanks in the corner, and you're gonna have at least one extra. One of them might still die. At that point, they don't know, but because they have that extra tank, that means they can be even more aggressive. Just because they know we have some backup, because
Yeah.
Endgame vote.
I
And
mean,
that reaction, it just threw Endgame off, I think.
well, it was exactly. I mean, with the two T22s, I think the other one was pencil. I think one of them was pencil case, and I can't remember who the other one was. It's slipped my mind now.
No pen.
No pen. That's right. It was no pen and who?
I don't remember the other one. I just
can't
know that
remember.
No Pen played the mobile tanks usually.
Well, one of them then stayed there, and Al No Pen, I think it was, then moved in to help out the rest of the team on the C-cap. Whilst the other T22 just stayed in that corner and farmed until the last minute. So it was a really good play by Reti. Very good play. Okay, they had to sacrifice their STB, but what a sacrifice.
No, he actually was alive for quite a long time there. He only died at the very end.
Yeah, but he got pummeled. That's what I mean by the sacrifice. I mean, because everybody focused him. And by focusing him, it allowed the T22s to wreck Endgame's T22s. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is, again, I'm surprised because the reaction normally of those players, Winch and Orca, in those tanks is normally, fantastically brilliant. And I don't know, it just seemed like Endgame were just, their heart wasn't in it. That's not taking anything away from Reti. It just seemed that, as I said, they just disorganized and not coordinated today. It was bizarre. A bizarre Endgame, let me put that way. And, we got the prediction wrong. We said 3-1 and it was 3-1 to Reti, not 3-1 to Endgame.
Yeah. That also is causing a trouble to me right now, because one of my giveaways was to guess the results, and no one guessed Reti.
Well, that's
so
why
I have to improvise.
All my giveaways are on damage, so thankfully I got away with that. But I'm again not taking anything away from Reti, but I'm rather speechless because they were the tournament favourites. They were, simple as, and they're now out on day one, and we're still waiting for seeing who goes out on day one in Group 2 because I don't know yet because I'm playing a replay of Layla's. So
yeah, I'm also just showing replays right now.
But I mean, I said at the start of my stream that I thought, this is my personal opinion, I thought that maybe, just maybe, Serenity have got what it takes to beat Endgame and step up. Well, they don't need to beat Endgame now because Endgame are not in it. And Serenity have been very, very consistent throughout the PYSs. They played consistently against Reti. They beat Reti convincingly, to be fair. Although it was a lot harder than they expected. Reti did play well. I haven't seen Loka. And I think Loka, I don't know, it's Loka and A1N1, isn't it? No, it's Loka and BPS tomorrow. Lost. Oh, okay. So BPS, one of the BPSs goes into play whoever loses against Loka and the other BPS tomorrow. So, I mean, what have we got left? Well, I would say it's between... it's a difficult one. I would say Zerd's BPS. Zerd's BPS is up there. Loka have made one hell of a comeback.
They definitely did. Like, midway of the season, they just turned it around so hard.
Totally. They've made one heck of a comeback. And I'm still favouring Serenity at the moment. I am still favouring Serenity.
They've been very dominant from the games that I streamed of Serenity. They've been, as you said, very consistent throughout their games. It just depends on...
No, you're wrong.
It seems the games of...
A1N1 beat BPS, so BPS are out.
I meant in round 1, A1N1.
Oh, right, sorry. Oh, right, round 2. Right, yes. Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't quite expect that.
Nor did I, but A1N1, they're playing okay. So it's Loka and BPS Gravitas. That's Zerd's BPS, by the way. Or the rebranded Aqua, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They are playing tomorrow, and the loser of that game will go and play A1N1. In Group 1, wow, Serenity and APA, and the loser of that will play Reti. So it's will Serenity turn over APA? APA are going to feel buoyed up after beating Endgame earlier, and now Endgame are out. Everybody in probably is going to breathe a big sigh of relief, to be honest.
But let's say hi to
I
Jack
have
and
to ask,
Amina.
what
Yes.
on earth happened?
Endgame got out aggressive, basically. Is how I would describe it.
Wow,
Yeah, well-
no lag or crashes involved in this?
No.
No, not that we could see. Be honest with you, we were just discussing it. They didn't look like Endgame. Let me put it that way.
It really didn't.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way I can put it. They did not look like Endgame.
They also didn't have Nico. We don't know if he's the caller though, so we were just thinking about that the entire time.
That could be a big reason, to be honest. Because someone came into our chat to say us that to tell us that Endgame lost, and we were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They lost
No
tiebreaker
way
against
that.
APA, and then they lost 3-1 against Reti. Which was quite surprising. But Reti played well. Nothing away.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
but
I mean,
it's Endgame.
Yeah.
but if you go back and watch Anna, it's not, and that's the thing. This is what Peter and I were just
definitely
discussing.
support that.
Peter and I were just discussing this. I mean, it's not. I mean, as Peter said, can't take anything away from Reti, but one of the things that Reti were doing was suckering Endgame into traps. And the thing that I said to Peter is, well, that's just not Endgame. It's Endgame who normally suckers the other team into their traps. They very rarely fall for the traps laid for them. So, I mean, I don't know. Peter doesn't know who the caller is. I don't know who the caller is for Endgame. Nico wasn't there. He was sat on the bench. And I must admit, they looked a little bit lost without him. And they played a few games in the PYS without him. And again, they looked a little bit lost. So that could be a factor. It could be.
But maybe stopping with our matches. How did yours go?
Yeah.
Oh, A1N1 versus BPS. It was very close to call. It could have gone to BPS, but A1N1 did really well in the last two games. Particularly the last game just went Leroy Jenkins
Or...
tiebreaker on New Bay. Yeah, they just went like they throw in everything and it worked for them.
Oh,
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it just went like
great games, to be fair. Not predictable at all. A1N1 keeps going for a very heavy lineup, and you keep thinking that this is not going to work, and then it does, so you're pleasantly surprised. And then the next battle, it just works entirely different again. It's very interesting to see them play.
Very diverse then, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Nice. How did the Loka game play out? Against
Loka
BPS?
was. Oh,
no,
that
wait,
was.
they didn't play. Wait, who did they play?
No, they did play against BPS.
Oh,
the
There were
backup-
two BPSs in our groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
no,
backup
I was
team,
just,
yeah.
I was just confused for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Though I was saying on my stream earlier with Eminet and also earlier as well, probably the best games I've ever seen. Probably might go far and say the best games I ever streamed. I know. So BPS was leading 2-0 at one point. And the second game was kind of a highlight of the entire stream, I would say. UE10 1 versus 1 against Unif and Josh in the Kramwagen. UE10 is in the IS4, and they were circling around the rock near the northeastern corner. There was a rock, where you reset B with a tank. What you at that moment is Loka with a slight cap lead by around 5 cap points, and the hit points are quite equal. So 1 versus 1, you can't tell which one would win. But what UE10 did, he moved backwards gradually to B. B was under the capture of Loka, so around 980 cap points. Unif and Josh was desperately trying to permatrack UE10, but UE10 managed to slip into B, got the cap stop, and BPS the cap points went back into favor and won it by 1 second, I think.
Oh damn, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That third game also, the third game also where Loka won, it was a total clutch. Basically, Loka was defending their cap lead, and they were defending very, very rigorously. And in the last few seconds, BPS was leading Loka by quite a significant amount of hit points. But what happened is that all the BPS tanks are very, very low. And Loka, at around 950 something cap points, killed one tank and they won the game. BPS just stayed, didn't really push through when they could have done so. So Loka got that game out, clutched that game, and that's kind of got them into a comeback, winning 2 other games, and it was just absolutely fantastic.
How did your games go, Aminette? With A1N1
Interesting.
BPS?
Like I said, just A1N1 doesn't do what you would expect them to do with a lineup that you don't expect them to have. Like, there was a match on Canal, and the only reason that BPS won that match, with the first matchup that was pretty much because they had 2 very aggressive spotters, so they spotted the whole A1N1 team going exactly the direction that they did not expect them to be. So that's the only reason that, well, basically, of course, then after that everything evolves, but that's pretty much the reason that BPS still managed to win that game. A1N1 won the first game on pure aggression. Their whole playstyle is pretty aggressive, and I think that some of the matches that they've lost, because after that BPS won, it was basically a 3-1 for BPS, but the matches that they lost was basically when they didn't get away with that aggression, when that pushing aggressively with a heavy lineup didn't work out in their favor, or when they hesitated too much.
Yeah, that's a problem. Pushing and then not pulling through with it is the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
Because the advantage of a push is taking the opponent by surprise, and usually getting 1 or 2 tanks caught off guard by maybe trading quite a bit of hit points most of the time. But if you push and then just stop midway, that gives the enemy team just the advantage to, regroup, get their stuff together, and then react to whatever they need to. So
That was the same
not
case
very
that we
smart.
saw in the second matchup, A1 versus the other BPS. There was a match on Rockfield where we had a Mouse and a Kranwagen and a bunch of other tanks push very aggressively against 2 of BPS Kranwagens, pushing them away from their position. So they had the advantage there, and then they just stopped. Had they pushed on, they might have well won that, because it was a very close game. And as soon as they pushed those Kranwagens, BPS responded by pushing the other side of A1N1 to take out tanks there, basically as in do something to avoid getting run over. But because A1N1 just hesitated there for a very long time, they lost that game.
Wow.
Very interesting results tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Indeed. So I
Very
suppose
interesting.
I suppose the $64,000 question now is, Jack, can you jinx us? Any
I
further?
think Thomas Peterson.
Always.
I think Thomas Peterson jinxed a lot of clans tonight already. I think that bot predicted Endgame to win APA 3-1 and Reti 3-0. So if Endgame has anyone to blame Thomas Peterson for jinxing them.
Jack is
But
blamed.
but for Thomas Peterson we read Jack.
And Loka also.
Yeah.
Loka got reverse jinx day 1 instead of losing. And
Unbelievable.
Endgame lost instead of
Well.
winning.
I mean, Thomas
Indeed.
Peterson got 6 out of 12 outcomes correctly, 3 of which are correct score lines. Not as good as Babox today, which got 8 out of 12 outcomes correctly. So
So basically, Thomas Peterson has a 50% win rate.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
50%. No, I instead of win rate, why don't we call it a 50% jinx rate?
That's probably more true, yeah. So back to the $64,000 question, which is Jack going to continue jinxing every series? But so Endgame are out. Who's your money on now, guys?
Yeah.
That is going to be tricky. I would say Loka if they're having a good day. I still find Loka is not as consistent as they should be. And actually, no, Serenity is there, of course. Serenity first, a second.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
what
know.
me. You put a good word to use there. That's what me and Fujit also talked about, consistency.
Yeah.
And that's what Serenity's been really good at this season. So depending on how, of course, all other teams play, it's gonna be very close, I think.
I mean,
Especially with the biggest favorite being out already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although I got like insider info that Serenity lost like 1-9 in training, so but that could just be them trying a lot of new strats, so that cannot be
Training-
true.
Training stats are never taken into account because people are trying
Yes.
tactics there, and they're also pretty much sometimes YOLOing to see what the other team is doing.
Yeah,
So trainings are pretty much nothing to go by.
Getting reactions
true.
out of the opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really vital.
So without considering that, I would say Serenity, based on like the past results, including the March community tournament. So my money's on Serenity, but I might be jinxing them as well.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
my
the
money.
biggest
very
offender
nervous
of
now that
them.
you said that, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, after streaming Serenity during the PYSs, I was very impressed with their laid back, very coordinated, and very good focus fire. To be honest with you, they've been very impressive this season. But as both Every and I said before you joined us, Loka, what a comeback! I mean, nowhere in winter, slow start to this season's PYS, and now look at them, what a comeback!
Save
the other
best for
thing-
last.
But the other thing, we can't discount the psychological boost that APA and Reti have now been given.
Definitely.
They have kicked out Endgame. Reti, their psychological boost will probably be a little bit more than APA's. And you know, if I was sat with Reti at the moment, I'd be seriously, I'd be on the ceiling, I think. Because it was a pushover. Seriously, I mean, you know, APA at least it went to a decider. Reti, no disrespect to you, Endgame, because we know what you're all about. They were pushed over by Reti.
The thing is, the APA game wasn't just a tiebreaker. It went down to being a 2,000 versus 2,000 hit point game in the tiebreakers, with APA having 3 one-shots and a 2-shot left standing at the end. So it was very close, this matchup.
Wowzers.
So
But
I'm not
it's-
sure how it
it's-
would have gone had Endgame won and APA played Reti, though. I couldn't predict.
Me
Well,
neither,
it's certainly-
but
It's been set up for an interesting day too.
yeah.
For sure.
Also, let's have a look at the challenges, maybe, because we unfortunately have no streamers there. So
No, I've just looked
Yeah,
at that in my. And it looks good.
Shadow and Sparta are disqualified, as it seems.
Yeah.
And
Später?
Shadow losing to Vale and Reckham.
Well, I mean, Shadow's kind of like expected, to be honest, there, but I mean,
I'm just saying results. And
Yeah,
Sparta
but
losing to
quick.
Raid and Kraken.
but Quake was another anomaly here. 3-0 against Rackham.
Did they? Goddamn. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
3-0 against Rackham. I thought a lot of people are writing off Quake because they got the top 16 in the last previous skill tournament at the
Like
expense
10
of
points.
cash by 10 points.
points.
And they beat Rackham, which is currently in the 9th place. But fair enough. I mean, Quake's team is quite different to the team in previous skill tournament, and I think a lot of them are from the Rackham second team, so that could explain something. But still, having them winning 3-0 against Rackham's first team, it is mind-boggling. to say the
IW
least.
also
Yeah.
3-0 Kraken.
Yeah.
So the 2 Germans dominating Group 2, basically. That's
Yeah.
what it's looking like right
Yeah.
now. That is going to be a very interesting matchup to play out. Sadly, we have
Sorry.
no one streaming.
Sorry. What it's, somebody's just said, level 2 trading in my chat. It's just said, BPS are like gremlins. They just keep multiplying.
True that.
The,
Also-
Sorry, I
Just
couldn't
wanted
stop
to say,
laughing.
we rib on Jack and his jinxing and everything a lot, but he does put in a lot of work in these spots and in the just the whole pre-work of this whole tournament series with teams and just estimates as what he thinks that will happen and everything. So massive kudos to that for that, Jack.
Thank
Yeah,
I
you
will still
very much.
tease you relentlessly regarding the jinxing and all,
We
but
all.
I do appreciate your hard work too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Loads of hard work for 50% being wrong. But hey,
My mum once had a friend who was a weatherman, and the weatherman said that he loved his job because it's the only job in the world where you can be wrong 100% of the time and still keep it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same with jackpots.
well, Amina, you're in. I hate to say which country it is. Is it Holland? Is it Netherlands? I don't know.
The Netherlands.
Never.
Netherlands.
I will
So
give you a history lesson one time.
One
because
day.
Holland doesn't exist.
this is very true. But are you anywhere near Nijmegen or Arnhem?
I live in Nijmegen.
You live in Nijmegen, lovely part of
Yeah.
the world. So, in World War II, Operation Market Garden, complete success when it came to certain bridges, like the one at Nijmegen. Absolute failure when it came to Arnhem. But
Yeah.
it's okay because Monty and his general said it was a partial success. So, Jack, you're you're a partial success.
Well, at least the bot got the A1N1 and BPS result completely correct.
Hey, at least you're halfway to a weatherman, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
yeah. Well, to be honest, I'm studying weather as well in my university, so
Oh, there
Ooh,
you
you're
go.
gonna be a meteorologist.
There you
yeah.
go.
So
That's awesome.
yes.
I mean, it was getting to the point where I was also getting the Jack jinx. Every time I interviewed a clan, they lost.
Just don't speak to anyone, Fuji.
So I stopped interviewing them. It's much easier that way. Because I interviewed Raid, they lost. I interviewed
Round
IW, round one, they lost. Interviewed IW, round one, they lost. Interviewed Gaseo Jones for BPS, they lost. All in round one, first game out.
Oh.
Straight
So
after the
basically,
interview.
what you're saying is that you're a weatherman too.
No,
Basically, I was saying, but basically what I'm saying is, I almost got to
Oh,
that
he's
point.
the
but
news reporter. I mean,
But
no,
yeah,
no.
I've stopped-
We can safely say
I've stopped
the
interviewing.
project's Curtis real.
I have stopped interviewing them.
we're
Everything's
getting a
happy again.
TV crew here now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's very well. Nobody's going to be interviewed by me anymore. They're all going to refuse because they think every time he talks to somebody, they lose. So, but anyway, what an interesting
Right, so
way.
I'm gonna leave you now.
So am I
you
because
will be
we've
streaming
got
again in like
NA.
5 hours. So
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
We got
need a
that
nap.
happening. Yeah,
Exactly.
aren't we all back for NA in 5
Yeah, we
hours?
are.
Yeah, all of us are on NA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fujit and I will be streaming professionals, and you two will be streaming challenges, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So we will be back in 5 hours. I wish you all a very good night, and I will see
Yeah.
you then, maybe.
Yep.
Indeed. Well, until then, I'll catch you all a bit later.
Good
Yep.
night.
Bye, guys.
Good
Bye,
night.
bye.
Bye for now. Bye.
And with that, I'm also going to end the stream straight after this replay, which is almost finished. I would like to say a big, massive thank you to everybody who popped in to watch the stream. I mean, it's always nice for people to come in and for me to host you. I'd also like to say a huge, massive thanks to the moderators, especially Level 2 Trading, who wasn't a moderator at the beginning of the stream, but he stepped up and kindly offered his services. And without him, doing the last few giveaways would have been a lot harder, guys. So big, massive pat on the back. The moderators are really the unsung heroes of the streams, to be fair. Without them, the streams, well, the chat isn't as friendly as it should be. And basically, the streamer has got an eye on the chat and he's not really concentrating on the stream. As you saw, when I was sort of trying to do the giveaways on my own, it's very distracting. You can't keep your eye on everything. So big, massive thank you to the mods, especially Level 2 for stepping up. With that, straight after this replay, I'm going to be finishing, so that'll be it, be over, but I'm back again in about 4 hours, 4.5 hours with North America Pro Tour. So until then, guys, enjoy the rest of whatever part of the day or whatever day you happen to be in. I've been Fujit, you've been fantastic. What a great opening day. Shockers abound. I mean, who would have thought Endgame would have gone out on the first day? Not me, that's for certain, and not many others in the tournament circle. But they're out. That has opened the field up considerably. So big kudos to Reti there for holding their nerve. I mean, don't forget they had lost to Serenity, so they're on the back foot. But big kudos to them. They played their hearts out and they deserved the win. Also, you know, congratulations to APA as well. They also did it. They turned over Endgame as well, but it was a little bit closer. Reti, on the other hand, they really stood tall today. So congratulations, guys. Also, congratulations for obviously BPS Gravitas, Loka, A1N1, as well as Serenity and APA. We're going to see all them tomorrow. Commiserations to those who are leaving the tournament at this stage, and that is Endgame and the other BPS. Until then, guys, as I said, enjoy the rest of your evening.